Hi, my name is Jace. I'm sharing about my case to create a public record of my case, following the quote from Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada: when rules no longer protect you, you have to protect yourself. I escaped violence from the United States, which they blocked me from protection outside the United States. The Egyptian government, Swedish, Norwegian, Qataris, and now the Canadian ones are still following orders from the United States. I am experiencing a strong pattern of transnational repression in Canada. So the only few options left, as Mark said, is to protect myself, and the only option available for me is to share my case publicly and create a public record of it. This is why I'm here. So, and yes, just a reminder, I'm not a content creator, and there's a lot to share about my case. It will take hundreds of hours to share all of it on videos. My goal is not to create content, so create long hours to create money. My channel is not monetized. My goal is to create a public record, so I'm sharing just some selective pieces of my official documents that I have submitted for my case, not all of it. So if you need to know everything about my case, you need to go through all these files here. So episode 8, church weaponization and religious persecution. Is it true that a church in America baptized someone as orders from the CIA or the FBI? Yes. Does the CIA weaponize churches? Yes. As they weaponize other government agencies and even private companies, they weaponize the church. Why? Because they know the outcome of this baptism. They will abuse it, right? To smear the target. Right? So here it was in here. See, weaponized church, faith communities turned into instruments of persecution. So I shared emails with the Canadian government between me and my church that prove that, okay, well, those people seems like they didn't baptize me to save me, right? So what happened was that I got baptized, I left, I kept tithing, right? But then when things escalated and I got tortured, I had to escape for my life for real. They blocked me, they tortured me in Sweden, the UK, I've been to UK, Qatar, Egypt. They broke my bones in Egypt. Norway expelled me. At the same time I was expelled, the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights rejected a precautionary measure against the United States government. Well, hello, right? Anyway, so during these trips, before coming to Canada and going to Norway, I was in Egypt, and I was like, okay, guys, can you find me a remote job? I only need about $500, and I can work anything, right? No. I did that before when I volunteered. I was not charging all my hours. But anyway, okay, can you return back my tithing? My entire tithing wouldn't be more than $500 maybe, or something like that, because I lived under the half of poverty line in the US, so $5 could have made a difference, or $10 make a difference. But anyway, I continued to tithe to the church that I was not attending and other churches that I was attending. So to tithe in different churches, that was, I had to divide this money. At the end, okay, so I asked him, which was the first time for me, can you send me $100 a month? You know, because I've been traveling, my money is going down, my bank account is plummeting. I've been forcibly excluded from work. My name is Jace Baz. I am accusing the United States government of blocking me from work inside the US and outside the United States. They gaslight me. They try to make me think that I'm someone who cannot work in any job. I was fired by orders from the United States government. It's all an act of menticide. They need to destroy someone. They need to eliminate someone. It's out of hate, by the way, because my ex-wife family told me we hate you when I first arrived to the United States. And that was actually confirmed before. So it seemed to me when I asked them, okay, guys, like I haven't been working, even when I asked them to find me a shelter, right? They did not find me. I was tortured in New York. Guys, I need a shelter. No response. Anyway, so I submitted emails to kind of to tell the Canadian Sea that church seemed to be weaponized, and those guys, this is the church, those guys seemed to baptize me to kill me, actually, by orders from the CIA, right? Because betrayals, as Dr. Ramani, anyway, betrayals is commonly known, right? I don't have to even. Betrayals after betrayals after betrayals. So here in Canada, yeah, becoming whole again after betrayal patterns, right? So here in Canada, guys, when I received the exclusion order in November, I will exceed the 90-day stay. They put me in a crisis mode. I trusted them that they will take the right action. They told me, we are going to evict you. You need to leave tomorrow, right? And it's by law. You'll be evicted in this code, okay? Like this. All right, betrayal. So this church also betrayed me because, after all, $100 a month was a big burden on them, even though when I went through so many challenges, even after I lost my car and stuff like that, I've never asked them for help, not for money. So when I asked them, hey, find me a remote job or stuff like that, they betrayed me. So it seems like it's true that the CIA, right, weaponized churches, which what they have done before. They know that the Egyptians will hate me for it, persecute me for it. I will lose the Arab world. I will lose the Muslim world. No Muslim family and a woman will marry me anyway. So I should feel desperate. It's a wrong decision. America destroyed me. This is what they were thinking. This is the outcome that they want. It's all about despair, to commit suicide, stuff like that. So luckily, I submitted this before. I showed this before. Yeah, here we go. So I submitted evidence that I was not this type of a kid that wanted just to be Christian, to have a Western life or stuff like that. In other submissions, I submitted that I have already lived my life outside the U.S. I did not need to become a Christian for any reason to be with a Western woman or to have a free life. I lived in Dubai 6 months. Women was knocking on our doors in Dubai, right? And I was raised in middle class. Anyway, I had my relationships. It's like even outside outside Egypt, in Turkey. So I'm not the man to be Christian for such a life that I had 10 times more than in New York. No woman walk on your door in New York, right? Women was knocking on our doors in Dubai. Anyway, but what I submitted that is more important was that I went to a Catholic church before I get baptized. These are emails with Helen, right, from St. Matthew Parish back in Georgia. So I investigated, right? It's not like I was happy. It was, wow, this is a concert, music concert, and wow, these are like, that's better than going to the mosque or stuff like that. No, Habibi. I was an atheist. I did not believe in the idea of a God, right? Because it's like, okay, if you are not born of a Jew family, you are not going to heaven. And if you don't know Arabic, you're not going to heaven. So how come we have a God who created us. We don't communicate through signals like animals. We read, we speak, right? And if we have a God that has to manage these relationships through a book, well, in the Islamic world, they tell us that, hey, this book was corrupted, was edited, has been changed, right? But then, for me, if we have a God that needs to manage a relationship with all these mankind, with all their differences, his book has to be translated. It does not have to be in one language, or otherwise he should have created us speaking only one language to regulate this relationship, right? So my mind started to be open about the reality, right? Even in my so in the Islamic world, we lived on the fact that the Bible was corrupted, right? But then I figured out that, okay, those Christians didn't know that Islam is coming, and they will take all those people from them. That's first thing. Second thing, as an auditor, the most pressing verse in the Bible that could have been changed was when Jesus said, "Don't say Father." But the Catholic Church did not do it. The Orthodox Church did not do it. And this is where money comes in. Less people, maybe less tithing. So they could have changed this verse, but they didn't. Right? So these are just small things that I kept investigating. And the greatest of all was the Catholic Church, because they have a Catholic compendium that none of other churches have done. It's an exercise, a great exercise of questions and answers. And it helps me because I'm a man who came from the generation who study books to pass exams. So I went through thousands of papers to pass my exams, right? So I was telling the Canadians that, hey, my conversion or choose to be a Christian was not a matter of fantasy, was the like this concert style Protestant church or stuff like that. I went to the Catholic Church. I went to an old black church, Pastor Wayne Williams. He was amazing. He actually stopped. So he was doing a Bible study with black people, right? I joined them, and he instead of continuing the study, he started a new study to introduce Jesus to me and to explain to me what it means for God to be just and justifier, blah, 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 stuff like that. Who is Jesus, where he was born, stuff like that. So apparently this man, he wanted to save me, right? But this church seems to, kill me, actually, because it seems like, as the CIA history here said, as they weaponize federal agencies, they weaponize churches, because I lived so many years, I've never asked them for help, not money, nothing. Even when I was tortured in the shelter, I only asked them to find me a shelter. They didn't find me a shelter. Okay. So I escaped from my life, because sound waves can stop your heart muscle. Okay? You can die. So I escaped from my life in Sweden. I got tortured in Sweden, blocked from protection in the UK, same thing in Qatar. I landed in Egypt. I tried to work, but it's like, I realized that I'm still persecuted, right? So I asked the church, hey, okay, guys, can you find me a remote job? No. Can you return me back my tithing? No. So I asked them, can you give me $100 a month? No. Well, it's true then. You did not baptize me for a good reason. You did not baptize me to save me. You baptized me to kill me. This was a part of the entire operation, right? Because I did not go to this church by myself, choosing to be a Christian. I was going through a divorce. My supervisor at the Home Depot, her name was Heather. Go to this church, they reconcile marriage. Okay, I was an atheist. I don't mind going to church or going to a mosque. For me, both were same at that time. So I went to church to reconcile my marriage, to tell this woman who came to Egypt 3 times, for whom I sacrificed my life for, tried to plan to go to Austin, Texas, where Elon Musk actually settled with his family and kids there. I did my best exercise to build a married life with her. Don't be stupid, right? I didn't realize at that time that this was all a CIA operation. I was just, no, this is a southerner culture where women are just tough and play tough, and her mother wants to take her from me and keep her beside me and beside her, stuff like that. Anyway, so it's true. So I've never asked for money. The only time I asked them for money when I was in Egypt, and they refused to give me $100 a month. They refused to send me back my tithing, $500, right? Because I lived under half of poverty line, and I was tithing to even churches in New York, right? So I had to divide my money, and they end up being not even, it's like, I don't want to say it. You guys probably know what I wanted to say. So yes, so yes, it has also nothing to do with being with white people, stuff like that. I worked with Muslims, I worked with Yemenis. I did not abandon the Islamic world. I was still chatting with Muslim women online from Turkey. It's not like, the Kamala Harris' husband is Jewish and she's Christian, so I would rather be with a married Muslim woman who needs to build a married life than be outside marriage with a Christian woman, right? So it will be stupid for me to abandon the Islamic world, because it's about character, it's not about faith, right? So, oh God, for this man is my hero. But I would still say that the Southerner teachings are stronger than the Northerners. Those people teachings are very strong. This is from the Bible Belt. They are one of the strongest, but to their own people, right? They cannot handle to get out of the world that the CIA created for them, right? It's like the white Jesus, not the the white American Jesus, as the Muhammad Ali said. So this supplemental Arab, we discussed about CIA case and stuff. We see it before Faith, right? Pastor Wayne Williams, he's a hero, a man after God's heart, and now Arab. So when you become a Christian, you realize that so many churches, kind of fight each other, right? And from an atheist perspective, when I did not settle for the idea of how can we have God who creates people in different languages and tell them, hey, if you don't know Arabic, you're going to hell. All right. So, well then, if there are different denominations, this makes sense actually, which is when you live in the Islamic world, it's something negative. But I found out it's something very absorbing and healthy, because we are humans. 90% of our perception of our reality is a matter of perception, right? And it's bound and limited by the location, right? So you are born in Afghanistan, you will become a Muslim lady wearing hijab. You are born in LA, you will go to Huntington Beach or whatever beach you display, and which is not wrong, and you live your life, right? So these are different domains of reality or perceptions that we kind of humans live, and unless you travel a lot, you will see you live these different domains of life or realities, right? So based on that, I found out that it will not hurt to pray with the Catholics or Mormons or whatever, right? Because at the end, we have to be different, but we all share the same thing at the end, that we all worship Jesus Christ. We're all Christians. We receive communion in different ways maybe, but it's the same thing. So for me, coming from an atheist background, I did not find it healthy to differentiate myself from other denominations. But because it's also like, okay, if as they said in the Islamic world that the Bible was corrupt, the most stressing verse, I know I probably said that before, was when Jesus said, "Don't say Father." And the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church, the Christians didn't know that Islam is coming and they would take people from them. So this was my perspective about, okay, I can go to these churches. I should not block anybody or talk negative about any other church. There's no such a thing as the only way to heaven, right? If we have a creator that needs to create this relationship with all mankind, his book has to be translated. That makes sense, right? So the translation is an act of mercy to build this relationship for me, so I cannot come to somebody else who speaks a different language and say, see, I speak English, I'm better than you. Or, yeah, I'm Protestant, not evangelical, you're Catholic, you're, no. We are different, we live in different domains of realities, and it's an evidence of absorption to mankind relationship to a creator or sort of a higher power of God, and that's where I was convinced somehow that Christianity makes sense. These are some of ideas. Anyway, so why I'm sharing this is because when I moved, when I moved to this location, I didn't have to go to downtown or, somewhere far to belong to a church of same denomination or stuff like that. I found the nearest church 10 minutes away. It's an Arab church. They have an Arabic service and it's evangelical. That's fine. So I prayed with them. I prayed with this Egyptian pastor. Safwat, I did not bother much to go to the other church, and this was my mindset. It was not about worshiping with Americans or in English, actually, because I was born in Kuwait, so my Arabic is genuine. So I was submitting an evidence that, hey, I already worshipped with Arab people, because they smear you. And in the reception center here in Canada, I met with a girl. She's from whatever country in Africa, I will not say it. You know what, Jace, we can live together and be partners, and we will make good partners living together and stuff like that. So this is when I know I'm being smeared, right? So in Norway, someone told me, get back to Islam and I'll give you money. This is when I know I'm being smeared, because in the Mormon church, somebody met me, hey, you need a job, just get baptized, we get you the job. Oh no. So this is where I know I'm being smeared, that, hey, he become Christian to live a Western life, as if America is the free world. The free world in United Arab Emirates is 10 times more free than in America. Ask anybody who lives in United Arab Emirates, he will tell you. And America is no different from Egypt. It seems in TV that this is a conservative Islamic world. Our woman is 10 times better than, it's the birth rate in Egypt is higher than Turkey. Let me just be factual, not be personal. Okay? So marriages and birth rate in Egypt is higher than Turkey. It's double, maybe, I don't know. So our women love to be with men, love to get married, love to, have relationship. And I submitted another submission that I am used to this kind of life. It's not new to me. I even dated someone from Turkey. I lived with her. So it's not something, I need to be Christian to live with a woman. No. And I proved that, hey, I'm not sure if I submitted this, but I was still in touch with Muslim women from Turkey. I used to it. I speak Turkish sometimes. And because, like you see in America, Kamala Harris her husband is Jews, and I'm supposed to be out of marriage with Christian woman. If I find a Muslim woman who wants to get married and build a married life, come Habibti, we'll get married, no problem. Accept me as a Christian, you're a Muslim, I'll help you. But to fixate my mind that it's not equally yoked, and then all Christian women don't want to get married, but then I find a Muslim woman and I say no. Well, it's Christianity is based on identifying our weaknesses, right? So if these are all the options available for me, and I have a Muslim woman telling me, okay, I'll marry you, I'll marry you, okay, no problem for me, right? So this is America, or this happens somehow more in America than other countries. So I was submitting these documents to say that this is me. I can worship with Arabs, no problem. And those beautiful people, I met them in this church, right? And because this pastor, he was also into evangelism. He's Egyptian, he's a missionary, he's identified as a missionary on YouTube. So missionaries from Oklahoma, those people were from Oklahoma. I met them in an Arab church. Service in Arabic. The service was in Arabic. They don't know Arabic. The service was in Arabic. And they were attending with us. This is Matt, his wife. Amazing people. They were family to me, but I lost them. Anyway, so why I'm submitting this? Because, it's a father-in-law who mocked the black people as monkeys. It's white women from the US and UK that they are trying to push on me to say, thinking that it's a perception of white supremacy, right? It's a white man and the CPSA, so there's this white man who trying to exit from the room, and the security guard keep telling him, calling him sir, 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 sir. It's a white supremacy perspective, right? And I had to prove that, hey, even though I have a photo with those people, that doesn't mean that I've been searching for a white American church. Like Muhammad Ali said, Jesus is white, everything is white. No, they were just awesome people of whom I met in an Arabic service, right? And if I were to go to only worship with Americans, I wouldn't have ever visited this church, but it was close, 0.4 miles, 10 minutes. I went to the church and I worshiped, right? See, and I was lucky to meet with those people as well. And I evangelized with those people. I did not take money. This is also one of my submissions, that they might smear me as the guy who converted from money. And I am saying so. The United States government, with its intelligence agency, the CIA, deliberately block me from work in the US. They choose churches to offer me baptism, to smear me that I am getting baptized to make money. They let one of the pastors that I worked with to hand me over $100, treat me degradingly like a poor Egyptian guy. He came to super America that I went to before. So I visited the US twice before, in 2008 and 2009. So almost 2 decades ago, I've been to the US twice. People offered me jobs, cash jobs, marry an American woman, right? My friends, Americans themselves, they told me, oh, well, your English is good, you're a PwC, you're still working for PwC, they will sponsor you. So, no, it was never my dream. And I left twice under pressure. My family called me from Egypt. We have family members there. You can stay in their house, right? Stay in America. Everybody break visas, overstay. This is America, right? Well, sorry, thank you, Habibi. It's not my dream, right? Even people who live in United Arab Emirates for long, they make 10 times money than living in America. They think they are rich, Americans, there are people like a fresh graduate Emirati. His salary is about $10,000 minimum. So the CIA is like the first line of deception, not the first line of defense. They don't work on the prosperity of American people. They work on their own psychopathic validation of their whatever. Let's invade Iran. Let's the business, the capitalist America, and they don't care about the criminals coming from Latin America. They don't hack their devices as mine. They don't go after them. They need a hate crime to validate their superiority from an Arab guy. Hate Arabs, they need to sell guns, stuff like that. They need to find an enemy to sell guns. That's it. That's what the CIA is doing. So, evidence in Arab and faith shows I worshipped in Arabic with Arab Christians under Egyptian pastor Safat. Had a 61-day tattoo baptism. I submitted also somewhere here. So in Egypt we have our religion identified in our ID, right? Because when you are getting into church, because we protect churches. There's no country in the world that protect churches more than in Egypt, by the way. So if you're getting into a church or something like that, if they suspect that you are not Christian, or like why you have a beard and getting into a church or stuff like that, show me your ID. If he find a Muslim, he will ask you why you're a Muslim and getting into a church, right? So when I settled to the idea that I need to identify myself as a Christian, and there's no family around me, everybody identify me as the Egyptian Muslim guy, I had to put a tattoo on my body even before I get baptized. And if in America it was allowed to put that in the ID, I did not have to put this tattoo at all. I'm not kind of a guy who take photos. When I went to the US for my exams in New York, I didn't leave my hotel to take photos. I didn't have time. I needed to study to pass the exams. My goal was to pass the exams, right? So I'm not this type of guy who put tattoos and brag about it, or take photos, or even make videos like this. I don't know how to make videos. I had to divide the screen for it. So if it was allowed back again to put this religion in our IDs, I would have put it, but I put a tattoo instead, a cross tattoo, to identify myself as a Christian before I even get baptized, right? So before I close this is just a reminder that the CIA weaponize churches. I only asked the church for money after I was forced to get back to Egypt. After so many years of forced unemployment, the United States government blocked me from protection and employment. They wanted me to kill myself, right? Still, they are working on it. Staged overhearings about taking care of others, but not me. Complete isolation. But anyway, this is what the Canadians is helping them. So this is a real story, not a. So this is a real life story, an active case where the CIA operate a covert and psych operations. So this was a reminder. In episode 9, we examined economic sabotage and administrative persecution. I'm not sure if I'm going to discuss this or not, but this was episode 8. Thank you for watching.